Hello, boys and girls and children of all ages. Fat bastard wannabe Buddha coming at you this day. Tonight is Democratic primary, mainly. That's what I'm going to be discussing. It's mainly talking about. I don't have a really truthfully, Red Bull. Red Bull. And don't worry. I got my Mountain Dew. I got my Mountain Dew here and over there. I got some NyQuil. So I've been mainlining, public speedballs for the past couple hours, getting myself ready for the New York primary so I can stay up and enjoy myself. Yes, I'm breathing heavy still for some strange reason. Sorry about that, but I am. Obesities ain't your friend. But anyway, coming around to the New York primary tonight, unfortunately, my opinion is I think Bernie comes a tad bit short. It's going to be about 4 to 5 points he's going to miss it by. But if I am wrong, I think Hillary's done if Bernie wins New York tonight. I really, really do. Even though she will win Maryland, most likely. Pennsylvania might make a comeback for her. I'm not sure. Please forgive me, Red Bull. God, my hands are scarred up. That is some misspent youth. Anyway. So if Bernie wins tonight, I think it's over for the Hillary campaign. But I don't know if he wins. I doubt very seriously he wins. Of course, I know Trump's going to just crush it. He's going to absolutely crush it, which is going to be fun to watch that. But anyway, getting back to Bernie. If Bernie fails to win tonight, I don't expect the race to be over. I expect him to ride it all the way out to the convention itself and try desperately to push her over and over and over, further to the left to get her to sign on to stuff. I mean, he basically got her to sign on to a $15 an hour wage as a minimum wage, which is very impressive. If, he stays in a couple more months, maybe we can get Medicare for all out of the Hillary campaign. But I don't know where the left goes from here, because the left has a tendency, if he loses, we have a tendency to get wrapped up in personalities and ideas. One of the things that happened to the Ralph Nader candidacy is that it became too much of an ego campaign, in which after Ralph Nader helped to get the Green Party on everything and, ran a couple campaigns, unfortunately, there was no counter effort to actually do something down the ballot and local elections and all the dirty work that has to be done in order to build a large base liberal organization. And that's one of the problems with all of the left, in my opinion. Currently, it doesn't. The left is lazy. There's no getting around it. It just straight out is lazy. It doesn't want to do the 20 to 30 years of building coalitions and bridges and going into communities and building a structure that it takes in order to get some woman to stand on the back of a bus. That just, that wasn't one individual action. It took years of organizing in order to get to that point. And the left has seemed to be unwilling to do it. It seems, social media is a wonderful thing. Social media can instantly put 20,000, 40,000 people into the streets in the middle of nowhere at a drop of a hat. But yes, that will get you numbers and that will get you support and everything, but it isn't the hard reality that it takes to build systemic change. Takes just grinding day in and day out of building bridges, educating, talking, communicating, the whole thing that the left seems unwilling to be able to do. And maybe I'm too old and I'm too out of it to actually realize that what is going on down there on the street level is that it is building a coalition, is building stuff. But I look at how Occupy faded away so easily, was so easily basically destroyed by the federal government. And yes, there's some Occupy Sandy Relief and all the other stuff did have some long-term benefit. And maybe we're seeing some of it in the Bernie campaign as forms of organization, as a means of meeting people and exchanging numbers and realizing you're not the only one that believes this way, which is really interesting. I went into the pizzeria that I go into today, and The owner of the pizzeria that I visit is a Bernie guy. His wife supports Hillary. That's unusual, but maybe it is more developing than I fear it is. But that's one of the reasons I think I don't want to talk about the Bernie or bust things. I will straight out. There's no way I can vote for Hillary Clinton. There's a multitude of reasons for this, but it mainly involves poor folks in the South. You know, I despise the Clinton campaign for what he did to the Democratic Party. I despise welfare reform and the crime bill and a whole bunch of deregulation of telecommunications, deregulation on the blowing up of Glass-Steagall, the opportunism of racism. There's a whole litany of things that basically what it comes down to is I hate the DLC and I think it's a cancer and there's no way I can support any of those candidates. And I fundamentally believe that it would have been better with a George Bush Sr. second term than Bill Clinton. And I think a Bob Dole presidency in '96 would have been better than a second term of Clinton. And I think history has borne that out. And everybody says, oh, well, what about George Bush Jr. and Gore? I think the deep state wanted the war in Iraq no matter what. I believe it's very hard to stop some aspects of it, but I do think maybe some of it would have been tamped down. It wouldn't have been as nasty, but we would have still been in the war with Iraq and Afghanistan and a whole other litany of stuff, even if Gore won that. Might have one or two justices on the Supreme Court differently, but they would have still been corporatists. I mean, my favorite jurist was one of my favorite jurists was a straight out Klan member trying to save his soul, appointed by Dwight D. Eisenhower. Sorry, sometimes you know people do change on the court. Would you prefer Souter or Breyer? I'd take Souter over Breyer if it comes down to economic issues. Sometimes I think what you get with a Hillary presidency is a DOA and dead on arrival domestic agenda, and she would go play adventures across the board. And I've hammered this dead horse over and over and over with everybody who deems to talk to me about it. But what the left needs to do is not get wedded to one individual, which we have a tendency to do, and a group of ideas and principles that we hopefully still believe in to maximize equality and maximize human liberty. That's what hopefully we're trying to work towards. That's one of the reasons I'm a lefty and I identify as a leftist as opposed to a liberal. I don't want to make the system more humane. I want to do away with the system completely. But hopefully Bernie wins tonight, and this will be null and void, and then I can go over there and start calling Bernie a sellout and start pushing him from the left. Hopefully that's what happens. Bernie becomes president, gets rid of my student loans, gives me health care benefits, and maybe a $15 minimum wage job, and I can start screaming at him for not going far enough. Maybe we get there, but I don't expect to see that, and I worry that the left implodes on itself if Bernie goes down. It's one of the things that I find problematic with this. I worry about a little bit. I hope I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong. I never thought I'd live to see the day when someone would get on a stage and call himself a democratic socialist. It's a long way from where I grew up, man, and I'm pretty happy about that. Anyway, if I make a prediction, Trump wins tonight. Bernie comes so close. It's going to be a heartbreaker. I expect him to lose by 4 to 5 points against Hillary, but I do expect him to ride it out to ride it all the way out to California, which is going to be fun to watch. And I can't wait for the Republican convention in Cleveland. It's going to be so happy. I'm going to be so much Red Bull, so much Mountain Dew, so much pizza. It's going to be a glorious time to watch. Anyway, that was my brief thoughts for the night. Fat bastard, wannabe Buddha. Good night. Uh-oh, I got to turn this off. Oh, stop. Good night, folks.